hope you are well. Today it's Friday. It's Friday. Oh my goodness. All right. We are going to press pause on that. As always, got to start with a little bit of music. It's your girl Esha here, Carnivalista and Chief of Events by Ashe, and we are the co-creators of Ultimate Trinidad Carnival, Ultimate Cropover, and the Eat Dance Travel series. And there's an Eat Dance Party series coming, but I will talk about that in a little bit. So guys, we made it to the end of another week. Tell me how you're feeling. Leave me a comment below. Tell me how your week has been, what's going on. Just leave me an emoji. Say hello. Say hello. While I, of course, figure out my Facebook stuff here, as usual. But I'm good to go. All right, so the end of another week. And it has been a good week since you guys last saw me last Friday. So to give you a few updates before I get into today's topic, which is talking about you are what you attract, or you attract what you are. So I'm going to be talking about that, but I have, let's see, 3 updates for you before I get into that. So first update, recap of Trinidad Carnival Staycay, which was my fundraising birthday party that I had on Saturday. And it was really, really good. We had some technical sound issues. That was not a good thing. However, everybody who attended had a good time. They hung in there with us with all of our sound issues. And most importantly, we exceeded our goals. So to remind you, this was a fundraising party to benefit the Heritage Children's Center in Tobago. And the goal was 10 tablets, and we exceeded that goal. We actually collected enough money for 11 tablets for the kiddies. So the Heritage Children's Center, to say it again, in Tobago, they are a preschool program for children with different learning abilities. So anything from dyslexia to Down syndrome to various scales of autism, or wherever on the spectrum scale of autism these kids are, meeting them where they're at and teaching them different developmental skills and learning skills that they would not normally get in the public school system. And then the goal is to reintegrate them into the public school system as much as possible. So I am just over the moon excited that we exceeded our goal and 11 tablets to send to the kids. So happy about that. So that is update number 1. Update number 2, many of you have been seeing emails and social media images and all kind of thing for Black Friday, right? If you are located in the US, you cannot get away from anything Black Friday related. So we have done a Cyber Days kind of sale for the last 2 years, I believe. So this year is going to be year number 3. We are calling it the Cyber Days, DAZE sale. And that is coming up starting on Black Friday and going all the way to Cyber Monday. And we're going to have a great sale on our travel packages. So if you have nothing planned for the summer of 2021 onward into 2022, then this will be your chance to save some money and grab your package so you have something to look forward to once you feel safe enough to travel and travel with us. So I'm definitely going to put a link in here. It is going to be a fantastic sale, and we only do it once a year. So definitely we are going to do that. Hey, Fabi. I see Fabienne is saying hi here. Hello. Thanks for watching. And I just put the link in there to get on our mailing list. So you will be the first to know. As soon as Cyber Days comes, you will be the first to know. Black Friday, of course, is on a Friday, so I will be doing a Friday Facebook Live on that day. I may be bumping it a little bit later in the afternoon because, of course, our little one Kwame will be home and he may not be down for nap time yet. So I might be doing that one at 1:30, but I will definitely be talking about the Cyber Days sale next Friday. So get on the mailing list. The doors are going to be opening for Cyber Days sale in the morning, so you don't want to wait until I go Facebook Live in the afternoon. things may be gone. So definitely get on our mailing list so you are the first to know. Third update before I get in today's topic is we have a new virtual party service coming soon. So remember I talked about Eat, Dance, Travel? So this series is going to be called Eat, Dance, Party, and it is a virtual party service. So this is not your boring Zoom meeting where you're sitting down and you're listening to the person talk. No. We're going to be eating, so there will be food service delivery available depending on your area where you're at. You are going to be dancing, that's the dance part, and then you're going to be partying. So they're going to be 2-hour-long virtual parties with music, as I said, food, games, and fun. And if you need a party these days, and I know you do, comment yes, definitely. So these are going to be themed events. We'll have 3 themes that you can select from if you wanted to do one for your friends, or if you work for a company and they haven't figured out what they're doing for the holiday season and beyond, because we're already accepting bookings in January. So definitely look out for that. Join our mailing list again so you can be the first to know when our website is up and we are ready to book these dates. We're going to be offering very limited dates in December for people who still want to do some kind of holiday or Christmas and have a fun theme and do something fun from the safety of your own home and still get to connect with your coworkers or get to connect with your family members, because if you're like me, you have family all over the world, so you may want to have something and have everybody together. So that is something that we are so excited about launching, and that is coming really soon. So get on the mailing list if you want to know about that. Okay, so let me go back to the comments. Hey, Ms. Natasha, thank you for watching, and I see you have your party hat on. Yes. Virtual parties, they are coming. Really excited about that, and we might just throw in some Bajan music in there, right, Natasha? So yes, let me get on to today's topic. You attract what you are. All right, so this is a touchy subject for some people, right? And I know certainly for me, when I first heard of the concept in my early 20s, your past relationships that you have attracted into your life, maybe unconsciously you attracted them to you. It's definitely something that I took very hard, and it was a very challenging thing for me to accept, because nobody wants to think that you attract some guy that you don't really want to date, or nobody wants to think that. So stick with me. If when you first heard me say that it stuck a nerve and you're already thinking, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, stick with me, okay? And today I'm just really going to talk about my own journey where all of that was concerned. It may apply to you, it may not apply, it may resonate with you, it may not resonate with you, whatever I say. So if it doesn't resonate with you, if it does resonate with you, leave me a comment, leave me questions, because this is something that I get a lot of questions about from people who find out about our business. Because of course, Tarik and I met at Trinidad Carnival, and I'm going to be talking more in the relationships realm, so not necessarily finances or anything, because I really get the most questions about relationships. How did you meet your husband at Trinidad Carnival, right? So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on today, relationships. But really the same steps and the same awareness can apply to any area of your life. Okay, because again, you attract what you are. All right, so let's dive into it. So in my early 20s, when I first became aware of this concept, I really wasn't willing to look inside and kind of see what was happening with me. I was still very much in heavy blame mode, or basement behavior is what Iyanla Vanzant calls it, and I'll get into where she comes in all of this. I was really blaming everyone for my actions. I was doing this because it was a reaction to my cousin who said this. It was a reaction to my friend who did whatever. And somehow I was led to the book In the Meantime by Iyanla Vanzant. And I say somehow I was led. I think I picked it up at a book sale or something. This is way back. I think this is like 2005. So this is a long time ago. I was still living in Toronto at the time, had just broken off a 3-year-long relationship with my boyfriend at the time. And yeah, it happened to be at this book sale. I mean, you all know I'm an avid reader. I love to read. So it wasn't entirely surprising that I was at a book sale, but still, just came across this book and I read it. And so the title of it is In the Meantime, and I believe it's Finding Love for Yourself and Others or something like that. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Let's see what Ms. Iyanla has to say about that. And reading that book was the starting point for me on my journey to self-love, self-fulfillment, and really everything that has happened in my life since then is a direct result of reading and practicing what I learned from that book. It completely changed the trajectory of my life, honestly. I really began to understand my role in existing relationships that were in my life and the people who I had in my energy and who I spent the most time with. And it also helped me to understand the new relationships that I was attracting and what was really going on in my head as I was meeting people just in general. So as I said, I would focus on relationships. So romantic relationships and what's the word? Friends, right? I'm trying to find the word, but I can't find a word. So all relationships in my life at that time. So family, friends, romantic relationships. I really began to be hyper aware of my mindset and what my role was in attracting these relationships into my energy, into my immediate sphere, you know. Has anyone else, I just want to ask the question, has anyone else been in that place, you know, thinking that everyone else is responsible for doing something to you? And I feel that all of us have been in that place at one point or another in our lives, whether we're still there, and not to make it bad or good, but it's just where you are on your journey. So if you have been in that place before, definitely comment yes. I want to make sure that you're getting what I'm saying. And again, if you have any questions or if you disagree, outright disagree, just leave a comment, all right? So comment yes if you have been in that space before. So okay, we talked about the space. So how do you get past it, right? How do you come out of that place where you're in the basement, as Iyanla says in her book, where, you know, you're blaming everyone for what's happening in your life and you're not really taking responsibility for your actions? So the first I want to talk about, though, the attraction factor and the people who actually come into your life. If you're attracting people you don't want in your life, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, right? It doesn't mean that you are terrible, because this is not about self-blame. This is about self-awareness. So it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And here's the thing that I always love to share with people, and it makes me laugh, and it usually makes people laugh when I say it to them. You can always send the people you don't want back. And that was a revelation for me, because in my early 20s, you know, I always used to think, well, whoever crossed my path, they must have crossed my path for a reason, and they showed up and I should accept them, you know, for who they are, and they should be in my life. And that's really not the case. It's really not the case. It took me a long time to learn that and to be more discerning. And they always say the spirit of discernment, right? Having the spirit of discernment, to have that, have the choice to decide who gets to stay and who doesn't get to stay in your life, right? So you can always send the person back. So if it's, you know, the person, man, friend, woman, whatever, you can always send them back if they are not who you really want in your life or in your energy. Instead of and here's the difference. You know, there are some of us, myself included, you know, back then, someone would show up and I would try to change them, right? Okay, he smokes. Let's try to convert him to a non-smoker, or, you know, various other things. And we try to change people, and people are who they are because that's where they are in their journey and that's who they are. So instead of trying to change them, send them back. They don't have to be in your life. There's no rule book out there that says you have to accept everybody who comes along into your life and give them your time, your space, and your energy, right? And what I have learned when I started doing that, it made room for me for new and for better and for different when I started sending people back. When I was like, you know, this one's okay, you know, but I think I want XYZ, or I think XY or ABC would be better, you know. So I started doing that and things really started to change. And I feel the signal is to God and the universe, whatever you want to call it, is that you believe you deserve different, or you believe you deserve better. And that, hey, that may be your test in life, to discern for yourself what is right for you, right? So it is just a signal, and that's how I feel. I feel it's like a signal to God saying, you know what? I deserve better. I deserve different. I don't want to be treated that way. I don't want negative people in my space, and it makes room for more and for better. So if you agree that you deserve better, comment yes, because that's what I'm going to talk about next. How do you attract different and better into your life? So as I said, centering this whole talk on relationships, right? It started for me, again, got that book in the meantime. I really had to take a hard look at what my role was and who I was attracting. That was hard. That was really hard. Actually, before I go on, let me see if there's any comments. That was really, really hard, When I see some hearts, thank you. I'm glad you're sending me some love, because this is just an interesting topic for me to talk about. And I see Fabi definitely agrees that she deserves better and you want better. So yes. First step is agreeing, believing you deserve better. All right. So it was really difficult for me to take a hard look at myself and who I was showing up as in the relationships that were in my life, right? So that was the first thing I had to do. And it was really hard. I mean, I'm talking about hurt to the core, to really think, oh my goodness, is this how I am behaving? Is this how I am being? Why am I not being my full self in these relationships? Why am I not speaking my mind? Why, it was just asking myself those really hard questions and analyzing and really doing some deep work in terms of who I was, how I was showing up that was differently from who I really was, and why was I accepting various kinds of behavior and actions and reactions in my life. So as I said, that was a really difficult process, but I did do it. And the next step is to forgive. I forgave myself for it, right? Because again, it's not a blame game. It's not about you being bad, this one being wrong, the other one being crazy. It's not about any of that. It is about taking responsibility and being gentle with yourself and forgiving yourself. Because to get where you want to be requires you changing, and it requires you acting differently, and it requires you being gentle with yourself and forgiving with yourself, because you won't get there by forcing yourself or shaming yourself. You'll get there by being gentle with yourself and practicing that quiet forgiveness in terms of the way that you behaved in the past, right? So I really had to do a lot of forgiveness work for myself, and how I was showing up, how I was behaving, what parts of myself I wasn't bringing to the table in my relationships, in all of my relationships for that matter. So I had to forgive myself for that. So in terms of a romantic relationship, I'll narrow it even more. I made a list of what I was looking for in the next relationship, and I wrote it down. Now I know we have technology and you have the apps and you can make a list and all. I know all of that, but I am old school because I firmly believe there is something about putting pen to paper and writing. Okay, there's a whole bunch of science that backs that up. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a scientist. I know that works for me. When I write something down and I set my intention, put it on my vision board, it happens. And I know that's just what happens for me, right? So I made a list of what I was looking for in my next romantic relationship. And then I got to work. After doing the forgiveness, writing my list of what I wanted, I got to work. And what I mean by that is weaning out the people who were not positive influences on my life. Yeah, there was a whole process for that, right? And now you don't have to go through a whole dramatic breakup. Like, you don't have to call up your friend and be like, look, this not working out, right? We're not friends anymore. Click. It doesn't have to be all of that. The thing is, once you spend less time with them, you don't welcome them into your energy, you start changing the way that you are, it just naturally happens. And that's really what happened to me. Once, these people who were either negative energy or bad behavior or who I didn't want in my life, who didn't support the vision that I had for myself, they noticed I was changing, right? Because it could be as simple as, oh, I called her and, I called you to complain about my boss for the millionth time and I didn't pick up the phone, right? It could be that simple in terms of changing the guard. Because what happened for me is as I started changing, stopped accepting the bad behavior, stopped accepting the negative energy into my life, these people self-selected out. They really did. The call stopped, or the email stopped, or the unannounced drop-by stopped. Whatever it is, they self-select, honestly. So it doesn't have to be a big dramatic drag out, breakdown, breakup or anything like that. They self-select. But you do have to be conscious about that you're not accepting and changing and all of your changing. You do have to be conscious about that. So then as I kept changing, as I said, remember I said I got the book in 2005, right? Made my list probably in early 2006. But at that point I was dating a few guys and they weren't, they were okay. But I hadn't made my list yet. So 2006, I really sat down and took a hard look at myself and made that list. Okay, what is it that I want in the next romantic relationship? So 2006, I made that list. That's when I met Tarik. I met him in February 25th or 26th, no. February 27th, 2006. That is when we met. And he was everything on that list. It was just check, 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 check. However, I almost didn't call him after we met in Trinidad during carnival time. And not many people know this story. I mean, those who are really close to me, you all know this story. But we met and I didn't call him until March, late March. I don't remember the exact date. But it was just because I met him and our connection was so strong. I was actually afraid and I was like, okay, this really can't be real. It really can't be real. I went back to Toronto. He went back to New York. He gave me his numbers. And I was like, this really can't be real. I told my boss at work about him and like probably one or two other people. Yeah, I met this guy. Are you going to call him? I don't know. I might call him. And finally, my boss was like, okay, so I'm going on lunch for about an hour and a half. Call him. If you don't call him by the time I get back, there's going to be some problems because he sounds like he's a great guy. You need to call him. But I almost didn't call him because I was afraid. But I did call him. And as we got to know each other, he was checking everything off of the list, thoughtful, is forthcoming. He talks, I would always date the strong, silent type because I thought it was sexy for some reason. But yes, he talked how he felt about stuff. And actually, I didn't have to prompt him or prod him or, perform surgery on his brain to figure out what was going in there. Like he checked everything on the list, So that's the short version of our story because the rest is really history. But let me summarize the steps to attract what you want. And this is from a relationships perspective. And honestly, it can apply to other areas in your life, health, money, it can wellness, it can apply to any areas. So first of all, take a hard, good look at yourself. All right. Forgive yourself for allowing people that you don't want into your life. Forgiveness is so important. Be gentle. Don't be like, oh my gosh, girl, why did you even do it? No, just be real gentle with yourself. Send back anybody. Send them back. Anybody who has negative energy or who drains you or who does not support the vision that you have for yourself. Send them back. I give you permission. All right. Make a list of what you do want. Write it down. I would even go further to say create a vision board about it. What are those words that are important that you want in that relationship? What is the feeling that you want? Create a vision board about it. As I said, I have a vision board for anything that I want in my life and I write it down, so definitely do that. And then keep your eyes open for it, because you might just miss it. Sometimes it comes in a form that you are not expecting, and it's exactly what you want, but it doesn't look exactly how you thought it would. So in my case, I almost never called Tarik back or called him, period. And who knows, maybe we never would have, crossed paths again. Who knows? But I know that I almost never recognized him at that point when we met in 2006. So anyway, those are the steps, and that's pretty much everything that I have to talk about today. So let me just check for some comments, guys, if this is resonating, if it makes sense. If you don't agree at all, which is perfectly fine too, definitely leave me a comment. If you have a question, if you have a question, leave me a comment too. So, as I said, that was everything that I wanted to talk about, and I am going to put the link to In the Meantime, and it's not an affiliate link, guys. I just know what this book did for me. All right, so I'm going to share it with you all. I have shared it with friends, family members. Whether they got it or not, that's another story, but I know I've shared this book and recommended this book so many times. So I'm definitely going to put the link in the comments, which I just did. And it's also in the description that goes along with this video. So guys, that is everything. Happy Friday once again. Let's get some music going here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay well, be safe, and as always, till the next line.